Hi everyone, it's Diane Evans with stampinwithdiane.com. I'm an independent Canadian Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the interior of British Columbia. So if you're watching this is actually pre-recorded. So I will try to hop on as I'm doing, as this is going live. Unfortunately, I had to head into town for an appointment, but I didn't want to miss my Technique Tuesday. So I hope that you are enjoying this Technique Tuesday. If you're on my YouTube, make sure that you're subscribed down below. And if you're on my Facebook page, just make sure that you've allowed StreamYard in order permission. And then that way I'll know who you are. In any event, you guys, it's how did they do that? Technique Tuesday. And I'm revisiting one that I had done before. It was spotlighting. And today we're going to do faux spotlighting. You know, there's so many of these techniques that we do that there's ones that are kind of faux, they're kind of a takeoff from it, and they're not the exact technique. But this one's kind of a fun technique, and it's kind of it's easy to do, and I like to do that sort of stuff. So remember, tomorrow at 9:05, I will be posting this. I'll have a picture of my sample, the product that I've used. Make sure when you print this off that you do a sample for yourself. And I do have different variations, and there'll be a link to the video as well. So we are going to use this apple harvest. This one hasn't, it was, if you were fortunate enough, you got the dies that went with this, but this is such a neat stamp set. And you know what? I don't even know what I'm going to put on there for the words, but that's okay. We'll figure that out as we go along. All right. So faux spotlight is exactly what that is. So what you want to do is you want to take something from the stamp set, you want to focus it. We could take this one, we could do a focus point on it. But when we did the spotlight technique before, there was layers to it. This one, there is not going to be any layers. I'll create layers on the card as we go. So like I say, this will post at 9:05 tomorrow. And you just want to make sure that you do go on there at 9:05, download this. It'll be part of a PDF. And besides, it's on my my Facebook group, and the group is down below. It's only on the Stampin' with Diane group. It's not on any of the other groups on there. So I have my cardstock cut. I have a piece for the inside. We'll work on that in a bit. And then we've got, I just love when you've got, I love Poppy Parade, and I love Crumb Cake together. And you know what? I snuck in some Pool Party in here. So these measurements are, this card is 3¼ by 4. And then I've just done this 3 3/8 by 4 1/8. And I just wanted a very, very thin one there. And then this piece here is 4½ by 3 3/4. So that actually could have been 3½. It could have been like a 5, but it matched better to this piece that was here. In any event, let's get going on this. Now, I am going to be using my blends with this. So we are going to want to use our Memento ink. It's very important that you use the proper ink that goes along with the blends. The blends are alcohol. This is a water base, so it won't bleed that goes on there. So I decided to go ahead, and I'll show you another sample that I did in a little bit. I'm going to use this part here. And so I'm just going to ink that up. And this is a cling mount, so I don't have to worry about getting that extra layer down with the paper piercing mat. So I'm just going to go and line this up. We hope we get it in the middle. It'll be close enough if it isn't. And we just want to get the paper to soak up that Memento ink. There we go. So I think what we could do is we could have it going down this way. I should have had it a little bit more over that way, but that's okay. We'll live with that. Now, the part with when you do spotlighting is you definitely want to, oh my goodness, now where did I put that stuff? That is funny that I've got all that part is missing. All right, in any event, what you're going to do is you want to make a certain part of this stamp set spotlight out. So what we're going to do is we are going to take our darkest black blend, And I'm just going to come in with my stylish shapes. And that's what I was looking for. I couldn't see that on here. And I'm not sure what size oh, you know what? I have them all here. I'm actually going to go with this size here because this is a small image. We don't want it to be too big of an image because then we're spotlighting the whole particular stamp, right? So what you're going to do is you want to make sure that there's no funny little edges on here, and there happens to be an edge on this particular one. We're going to make do with it, but I'm going to line this up in such a way that I am going to have this. This is the part I want to spotlight. Now we're going to use the bullet end. Now I thought, oh, I could use a marker for this. No, you can't, because the markers are water. Oh, they are water-based. They would work. But you know what? What I'm going to do is I'm just taking this, and you have to be very careful that you have this. And I am just going to draw a black circle around. And you can see that's where there was a little bit of a, I don't know, a little bit of a notch out of there. All right, so this is the part that I'm actually going to highlight. Now, as I have on that sheet, I have where you could use different shapes if you wanted. You could go in and you could do like the nested essential elements. You could do one like that. I think the circle really gives the whole meaning of spotlight, right? So I'm going to come in with my light and dark old olive. I have some pool party, which you'll see me do in just a bit. And I also have Poppy Parade, and we have some crumb cake. Not a whole lot of the crumb cake, so let's go in and let's just color the wood parts there. There's, like I say, there's not that much of the crumb cake. Now remember, we're only coloring on the inside of this part here. If you do have any questions, just reach out. And like I say, I'll do that. I'm actually having some drops put in my eyes later this afternoon. And this would have been a terrible technique to try to do with that kind of eyes done like that. All right, so that's all there is to the crumb cake. And then what I want to do is I want to have a bit of yellow. Let's see. On my apple. Now, one other thing that you could do with your apples is I could have gone and I could have gotten a bit of Granny Apple Green on here as well. But we're just going to leave that like that. And I'm going to come in with my light pool party. And we'll just probably should be using the bullet end on this one. And I like to feather this out a bit into the yellow. And the yellow is just the apple that's not quite ripe, right? I'm just going to feather that out that way. And then I can put the bullet on there again and just go in. And of course, we want to have just a bit of shadow shading in there. And then I'll come back in with my light. Just so that we take away that color. We don't want that line, right? All right. And then just the leaves are basically the thing. So the best thing to do with the leaves are your old olive. We could also have done some Granny Apple Green on here, which would have been okay, also mixed with the old olive. See that red kind of came out there. I'm going to take my lifter and I'm going to see if I can push that. So what I want to do is just push that, whoops, oh, that color was in there. Just going to try to lift that. It's not going to lift very well, not with that particular one. Let me try another one. Should have left well enough alone. A lot of times with the lifter, what you want to do is just push that color back into the thing. So let me come back in with my green and we'll just finish up the old olive. And the funny thing is when you're coloring this and you're in that, just coloring in that spotlight, you have a tendency to miss a lot of these leaves. So we're just going to go back in. Just put a tiny bit of shadowing with it, not a lot. There we go. And then I'm just going to come with these. Whoops, I think I should use this bullet end here. And always when I blend it in, I use the bullet end and just go in circles. And that kind of takes away that look of those lines right there. Oops, a tiny bit. And you see how that's just taking that part away. All right. So now we have that spot that is like the spotlight. It just really annoys me that this is here. You're going to see it. I had red on that lifter. I was just seeing if there is any. I don't see any. Here. I'm going to try that again and try to get that off. It'll lighten it anyways. Okay, so then the other thing, and you notice that I did put some Pool Party. I have some cardstock. So I'm just coming in here and just putting some Pool Party in here. And that just highlights the part that I have spotlighted. And see how that is, just like that. It's just a... Now what we can do is we can go ahead and layer this onto here. So we're just going to come in like that and glue that on. All these measurements will also be on my there we go. And then this is just going to go on the center of this Poppy Parade. Pool Party, Poppy Parade. I really like those two colors together for Christmas too. So just like that. And then this is a piece that's 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. We'll just go ahead and fold that in. And this is just going to go on here like this. Now, what we can do just to add a bit of something to it, we can add some of this. We'll use some of this linen thread, and I'll just sort of wrap it around a couple of times. Very inexpensive ribbonish ribbon embellishment sort of thing. So I'm just going to put that under there. And then we'll just tie that in a knot. Well, I guess we could have tied it in a bow, but I don't think that's the way that we really want that to go. You know what? We can maybe. Let's just see how that'll work. All right. Then I did see, let's see, this is, to just pull this down. There we go. Now on here, in this particular stamp set, there's a really neat thing here. So I'm actually going to go and I'm going to stamp that all the way around with crumb cake, or I could use Versamark. And I think what I'll just do for this particular one is just a Versamark. And we're just going to just put that onto the card base. And it's going to be very subtle, but it just adds a bit of texture on there. As it dries, it'll get just a little bit darker. So that can go on there like that. And then I also have a piece of, I think I just dropped it on the floor here. This happens to be the pool party, and it's 3/8 of an inch. Not sure exactly how much I need. The greatest gift is a good friend, or hope you're feeling better. That might be a good one to get on there. And again, because it's red, we're going to go with our Versamark, and if you are feeling better. That's pretty small. I have another neat one that's here. Appreciating all you do. I think that's the one that I'll do. Oh no, that one says I don't know which. This one, appreciate all that you do. I think this is the one. Let me just see. Yes. So we'll just go and put that down there. Pick that up. Now, I don't know which way I went and did that, so we'll do it on both sides just in case. And I'll just come in. I'm hoping that's straight. Let's see how that works. I won't know until I actually put the white embossing powder on there. Oh, that is crooked. So I'll just heat set that and we'll do it again. So I'm going to have to do it on the back side of it. Worst comes to worst, I will cut another piece. Now, how was that off? That was... there. Let's give that a go. That's not very good either. You know what? I will cut one more piece and 3 times the charm, right? So we're going to cut that 3/8 of an inch. Sometimes when you do have these the cling mount stamps, they're harder to position. Now I happen to know that that's not quite right, so I'm just bringing it down just a tad. We'll see how that is. Okay, that's a lot better. So we're going to leave that and we'll just heat set that. So what do you think of this faux spotlight? Like I say, it saves an extra layer. It makes it easier if you want for something that's smaller, maybe, because the black layer that goes around for the spotlighting is actually quite big when you do faux or when you do regular spotlighting. So this way, at least you can, by doing it this way, you've got just a smaller thing around there. You know what? That's going to go. I'm going to put that in the middle. So we'll go ahead and put that on. You know what? That one might have been better because of that piece of twine around there. It might have been better to be not glued, but dimensionalized. And then I'm going to take my small little dimensionals. Just got that on there. And we're just going to layer this. Cut this. So like I say, tomorrow morning, it'll be on at 9:05. And then tomorrow, I'll be back with the mystery. Back to another mystery. Think of it. Think of what you could use without using your cut and emboss machine. That's always a good thing not to use. Let's just put that up there. Now, as far as what we could use for embellishments on here, there's not much that you have in reds. So what I like to sometimes do with these sequins is turn around, and these are the pastel ones, and I can go and I can color those. So I'm going to color this with the Poppy Parade. And I could have used the gold on here too. Let's see which ones are there. So if I use the gold, there's gold there. Actually, the gold is kind of pretty. So I've gone ahead and let me just get a bigger one here too. And there, we'll just leave it like that. And then, of course, we have to do the inside of the card. So, you know, I don't want to do where I have to do too much coloring with it. So I might just go in with that same stamp set that I had used. And let's just ink that up with our memento. And then let's just put that there. And I don't even have to color that. I don't have to, but I probably should now that I'm looking at it. So I'm just going to go in with my old olive. And then just do the highlights. Yeah, and the thing is, I'm doing this ahead of time because it's going on the inside and then it won't go through to the crumb cake. So let's go in with this, and this is the bullet point. And a tiny bit of the crumb cake. Wow. The light come in with the dark. And then we'll come back in with the light again with the bullet end. There we go. And that can just go in the inside. So I hope you enjoyed that. Like I say, check back tomorrow at 3 o'clock. I will be doing the mystery. 9:05 will be this technique thing that's going to go right here. So like I say, I hope you enjoyed that faux spotlighting, because that it just makes it so it's nice and whatever there. So all right, you guys, give me the thumbs up. I really do appreciate that. If you like my video, share my video. That's one of the biggest forms of a compliment. And also, if you do live in Canada, I'd love to be your demonstrator. And let me just pop on right back on down here. I want to show you a couple of other ideas that I had. I thought this would be a great idea to use as a background. So I have this particular stamp set, and I can't even remember the name of it. It's something berry. And I thought this would be great with the spotlight, but I found that it was just too busy of a thing. I wanted more white space on there. And then I also thought that it would work really kind of cool with this Sweet and Precious one. But this, like I say, it's just not a big enough image. I thought maybe the giraffe might work. But it didn't quite work for me. But there's some different ideas for you. So like I say, I hope you enjoy that. And I hope that you'll download it and we'll go from there. In any event, you guys, have a great day. And we will talk to you soon. Remember to create, because it's great for the soul. Bye for now.